All right, so we'll go ahead and start kicking this off. Welcome everyone to this is like an extension of the Ateraverse 25 virtual event. This is going to be a webinar called Ticketing That Works, Unlocking AI Insights. Before we begin, I just want to do a couple of pieces of housekeeping. This is going to be recorded. All of you that are going to be that have registered that are here, you will get a copy of this. It may take a while because they have to do some editing and it's going to get processed, but you all will get a copy of the webinar and we'll make it live for you. We'll share it with you. One thing that's going to be really helpful, if you see over to the right-hand side where you're chatting right now, right next to that is Q&A. If you have questions, you can put them in the Q&A. Lee and I will do our best. While I'm talking, Lee will try to answer them. When Lee's talking, I'll try to answer them. If we don't get to it, then we'll find a way to get you the answer as we go. Or we just can't figure out the answer and we'll say, oh no, we'll get back to that one a little bit later. But we'll do our best to try to answer the questions for you tonight. And that's the main thing. So let's take a look at the agenda for tonight. Welcome everybody to our Ateraverse, the webinar. We're going to do a short introduction in just a second. Really the focus tonight is going to be on two main areas. One is optimizing ticketing with AI, and then creating and utilizing AI in custom fields and automations. And then, of course, we're going to save time at the end. We'll probably save about 10 minutes or so for questions and answers. So real quick, my name is Bill. I'm the onboarding manager here at Atera. Again, welcome. Whether you're joining us for the first time or you're part of the growing Atera community, we're really glad that you're here. I know the spotlight right now, everything Atera is all about the buzzword, which is autopilot. It's amazing. It's exciting. It's a huge leap forward. It's cool. I mean, for lack of better terms, it's really cool. It's smart, it's powerful, and it's going to change the way that support teams work. And as we look ahead, we can't lose sight of what's already here and delivering a lot of value, which is the co-pilot. In many respects, the co-pilot is for you, it's for the tech end, and the autopilot is really for the end user. It's not an AI tool, it's a daily partner inside every ticket, delivering insights, suggesting replies, tagging categories. If autopilot is the future, then copilot is the bridge that's already transforming today. I'm not going to do all the work alone today. I'm here joined by my colleague Lee. He's one of our awesome customer success managers and product managers at Atera. And Lee works daily with IT teams around the world. Lee, say hello.
Hey there, guys. It's great to be with you today. As Bill said, today's session is going to be about giving you a real-life playbook for getting the most out of Copilot, whether it's handling tickets faster, building stronger KBs, or setting up smart reports that you can actually use.
Awesome. So now we're grounded in the session is all about, what I want to do is kind of quit talking. Not quit talking, but quit sharing this and go live. Again, we're going to save Q&A, a big session at the end. And as we go through it, Lee will answer questions. So if you give me a second, I'm going to do a quick transition here, and hopefully it's going to go right to where I want to go. Awesome. So we're looking at the dashboard of Atera. You should be familiar with it. And what we're going to work on today is we're going to work on basically the idea that somebody sent in a basic ticket, okay? I'm starting at my dashboard. I'm going to look at a particular site. I'm going to be working in Manhattan. And I can take a look at my tickets. A ticket has come in. I can see all these tickets that are unassigned. And what we want to do is take a look at how AI, how the co-pilot can help like really speed your day through. But before I do this is kind of exciting for Lee and I, which is probably makes us kind of geeky a little bit, is that literally rolled out this morning. And this is one of the beauties in my mind about Atera is that things come out every single day. Is ticket tabs. If you take a look up here at the very top, we have ticket tabs. So instead of having to open up a new version of Atera every time you do it, every time I open up a new ticket, what it's going to do, it's going to create a new tab, and then I can always come back to the main page of all my tickets. So whenever I want to do that, it's really kind of amazing the way that it's set up right now. Okay, let me get back over here, and I'm going to go back to my dashboard. I'm going to go back to Manhattan. So I've got all my tickets here. And what I want to do is I just want to address and take a look at how the co-pilot can work. Now, from this level right now, I do have a quick way of doing it. I could click on the co-pilot here. I'm a big fan of not going here, but actually going into the ticket and working from the ticket. Once I'm inside the ticket, I have a lot of options. Now, most of the things that we have inside the ticket page, it's pretty straightforward. It's very user-friendly. We can change our status, assign the groups, assign technicians, change that. All this is pretty straightforward. So the other part that's not as straightforward is the Copilot. Copilot is really easily identified. For those of you who are from the States, I like to call this the Pittsburgh Steeler button. But you can identify it by that little star pretty much everywhere. So you've got 3 of them right here. You've got generate reply, you've got generate article, and you've got Copilot. So there's a lot of different routes that I can go right now in responding to this ticket. The first thing I can do is I can just come over to generate reply, click on generate reply. Let's see what it says. There it is. It already gives me an answer. It's a very empathetic one, I might say. I understand how frustrating that can be. Let's try a few steps to improve your laptop's performance. Please check, and it's going to give you a little walkthrough. I can add my signature already in the profile page, and I can send this off and manage it that way. That's route number 1. Route number 2 is I can just come over here to the Copilot, click on the Copilot, and what the Copilot's going to do, it's actually going to start doing, oops, something went wrong. All right, let's try that again. And this is one of the caveats I should have said at the very beginning. Everything looks great until somebody's watching. So let me hit that Copilot button again. Oops, something went wrong. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try a different ticket, and just to make sure, because I've been kind of playing with my tickets today, and I'm going to click on this one here, and we'll try Copilot again. Boom. Okay, so I'm going to bypass the Copilot today for right now, and maybe we'll come back. But for some reason, it's having a, let's just see if I can regenerate a response down here. Is it going to work for me? Come on. Nothing more humbling than having a tech issue during a tech demo. Okay, so I'm going to bypass this right now. I'm going to come back over here to the generate reply. And again, it's going to give me information about what to do. I can reply with this. I can use this. And I can use this as a way at the beginning. What would happen with the Copilot is when I click on the Copilot, it's going to go ahead and do a couple of things. One, it's going to do an analysis of my device. Even though it's not running right this second for some reason, it's going to go ahead. It identifies which device I have. So it's Billy's desktop. It's going to go ahead and do an analysis. It's going to take a run through. It's going to take a walkthrough. And then it's going to say, okay, here are some of the issues that could be going on with Billy's desktop. I can cut them, I can paste them, or as the tech, I can just use those to walk through the process and start resolving the issue of the ticket. I may come back to this at the end of the session just to see if it's going to be back up online, but let's go ahead and go on to the next part. So I've already got my reply, okay? So I can use this, I can hit the send. And by the way, when I go for the send, I can change the status as I go. I can change it as that it's now open, it's pending, it's resolved. I can change the status whatever I want. Now, some people get a little confused where it says marked as resolution. This doesn't mean that I resolved the problem. This means that whatever I've written, this is how I'm defining as the resolution to the problem. And really what that does is that it helps the AI learn resolution. So if this is the issue, this is the resolution. It stores that information and it's able to use that. Now, the next thing I can do, and I want to say this not as a shameless plug for the autopilot, but one of the things about the autopilot, it's going to be using your data and it's going to be using knowledge-based articles to help respond to the end user. If you're using the portal, using the knowledge base is huge. It helps people. They can do some self-answers. They can get into it. You can create your own articles. You can just go into the knowledge base tab. You can fill it out. You can copy. You can paste. You can put whatever it is that you want. And this is what I like about it, is that you can actually generate an article directly from the ticket. So all I have to do is click on that. It's going to take me right to the generate article page. And what it's going to do, there it is. how to troubleshoot a slow computer. So already right now, I have the content, I have everything filled out. It gives me the article title. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and define where I want that. When you look into the portal and you take a look at the knowledge base articles, you're going to see that you're going to create it. You're going to create sections. You're going to create the categories. You can create the articles. So for right now, I'm just going to put this in-house laptops on the disk, and that's where it's going to be displayed. Okay. If I want to add a priority, if I want to do keywords for searching, but I have this and somebody can go in and do it. Now, here's one of my tricks. And this is something that I have this article. I'm going to use it. I'm going to save it. And I'm going to grab this content for a second. I'm going to copy it here. And I'm going to go ahead and create this so that I've got my article in there. Now I'm going to go back to my ticket. And one of the ways that you can answer people on a regular basis is by using quick reply templates. Now, quick reply templates are not AI generated, they're you generated, okay? The generate reply is, but the quick reply template, this is one that you're going to use over and over on a regular basis. So what I want to do is I'm actually going to create a new template. And what I've done is I've taken the information that I got from the knowledge base, and I'm going to paste it right here, okay? How to troubleshoot a slow computer. I'm going to go ahead and put that as the name, okay? I'm going to get rid of the ticket information. And then I'm going to add, say, a custom variable in there. I'm going to put, let's just make sure it's in the right place. I'm going to add the user first name. So I'm going to say, hey, user first name. Okay, I've got that. I could put a lot of other ones inside there, and I'm going to save it. All right. Now what I have, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to go down to my quick reply template. So I've got this ticket. My machine is running slow. Let's answer it. I'm going to go over here, and it was, oh, which one was it? How to troubleshoot a slow computer. Here it is. And I'm going to click on that. There's my answer right there. So what do we got so far? Already so far, we've got a generate reply. We've got a generate article. And we also have the Copilot. Let me just do a quick test on the Copilot. In a second, Lee's going to start, and then I will give a quick chat. Yeah, it's still not there, so I'm going to come back to that. So this is the AI components of using the ticket. When I work with clients on the onboarding process, these are the three main things that I like to focus on, because these are the three things that help you resolve, respond, reply to tickets very, very quickly. And you can eventually start working in ticket automations to make that a part. I'm going to pause just a second, and I'm going to check with Lee if there's any questions that are on this that we want to answer right now.
Let's see. The only question we asked is, mark as resolution, will it be available for me for the AI to learn? Or does it train the AI model for all Atera users? So I responded that the Copilot learns from two different sources within the platform, which are both the knowledge base articles that you create, and also from the thumbs up / down responses to AI generated content.
Awesome.
Note that it isn't instantaneous. It takes a little bit of time to process, but once it does, it'll become part of the general knowledge pool that it pulls from.
The whole idea, and again, this is about the Copilot, not about the autopilot, but really what this is doing, a lot of what we're talking about tonight, is setting the foundations for being able to use the autopilot. Because what you end up doing is you're starting indexing the information. You're going to be indexing your knowledge base, you'll be indexing your tickets, and that's where it's going to be drawing the information. So when the end user comes in, it's going to be based on the answers, are going to be based on answers that you have created, answers that you've given, the knowledge base articles that you've created. Okay, Lee, I know I speak faster, but the Copilot sped me up just a little bit. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to actually stop sharing, and I'm going to let Lee take over for the next section. All right, Lee, there you go.
No problem. Okay, so right now we're going to be learning about a new feature. It's quite an advanced feature as well. It's called Copilot Generated Custom Fields. So you know what custom fields do, and you know a little bit about what AI does. And now we're going to kind of learn how they can combine together to create something really useful. So simply put, these are custom fields that are automatically populated based on a ticket's content. This means that as soon as the ticket is created, relevant information is extracted and added to custom fields without any manual intervention. So let's take a look at how that works. Let's share this. Now should see my environment. Okay. And now what we're going to do is we're going to navigate over to custom fields. And we're going to want to create a new custom field targeting the ticket. And the way this works is that the title of the custom field is going to be your prompt that the AI is going to use to autofill this custom field. So we have a bunch of different types of custom fields that we can create. We're going to use a text field. And for the sake of this example, let's say that we want our custom field to generate a summary of the ticket. So let's call it ticket short summary. And let's add it. Okay. Now we are using ticket forms in this platform, so let's make sure to add it to the correct form. And let's drag and drop it right here into our basic form. That's the default form that I have on my tickets, right? So it's right here. And now let's head over to the ticket automation rules, where we can configure the automation. Okay. Now what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to create a new rule, and let's call it auto generate short ticket summary. Let's copy that into here. Now we have a couple different options here. The most useful option in this case would have it be ticket status changed. In other words, whenever a ticket is updated and the status changes, this will trigger the automation, and it'll generate a new summary. This is a good way of getting the summaries of a ticket as time goes by. Keep in mind that if you want the summary to be generated when a ticket is created initially, you should create another rule with the trigger new ticket created. So you can have those two rules operating simultaneously. So for the sake of this example, we're going to use the continuous one, ticket status changed, and add that. And we don't really need a condition here, right? We already have the trigger. And now what we're going to want to do is we're going to select set field value by Copilot. So selecting this action type is going to make it so that any field that you select here is going to be automatically populated by our Copilot. Okay, so now we're going to want to select the custom field that we want. In this case, it was ticket short summary, and we're going to click add. Okay, so now it's created, it's active. Now let's head over to the tickets page, and let's click on one of these. And what you're going to see is that ticket short summary appears, but it's empty. But remember, we still have to activate the trigger. So let's click on pending, just right here. And just to make it a little bit more dramatic, let's refresh the page and see what we get. And now, oh, what happened here? Ticket short summary. Let's double check all of our bases to make sure that we have everything set up correctly. Let's take a look. We said this is the one. Ticket status changed. Ticket status by Copilot. Ticket short summary. All right. So, yeah, this should be right. Let's double check this. Active. Okay. Failed to edit because we didn't make any changes. Let's try one more time. Let's give it one last shot.
It doesn't like us tonight.
No, it doesn't like us tonight. but we're going to do our best. We're going to set it to open. Let's actually set it to, let's set it to open. Let's refresh again and cross all of your fingers. So AI doesn't like us tonight. Could be because we're using a demo environment. That maybe we have other configurations that are conflicting. Whatever it is, I'm going to sort of act as if this gave us the proper information and sort of give you a little bit of a high level understanding of what this is capable of. So if you head over to the reports, if you have access to the analytical reports, which you should if you are on the third plan or higher, you can create a custom report and target the tickets data set and click on build report.
Can I jump in just for a second based on one of the questions that came out, Lee? So Israel just asked the question, he said, is it possible to generate a report either using a template or from scratch that includes the custom field data entered by end user? It's a great question, and it's exactly what Lee's doing right now. And the answer is yes, no. The answer is that yes, you can generate it from scratch, but no, not from a template. Is that you can't use one of the static predefined reports, but yes, as long as you're from the third tier and higher, you can use the analytic reporting and you can build it using a custom field.
Yeah, it is worth pointing out that all of the analytical preset reports are built with the same engine that uses the custom reports. So actually what you could do is if there's a preset that you like, but it's missing something or you want to get rid of something, you can actually click explore from here on that report, and that'll transport that preset report into this module, and you can actually edit that report, make some changes, and save it to your own dashboard. Now let's use filter, and now let's filter by a site. And now let's run the report. Now, if you recall, the ticket short summary didn't generate. However, most of the time it does. And when it does, all the summaries will be filled up here. So if you noticed earlier, I added the ticket title and the ticket number, and the short summaries would show up here. And if you wanted to save this, all you would have to do is click on save and add it to a dashboard. And now that it's on your dashboard, you have it here at all times. You can add additional reports to your dashboard. You can change them whenever you want. You can make them public or private. You can also set them on a schedule. So maybe you want to see the recent ticket summaries of all tickets that were done this week or at the end of the day. That way you can get a better understanding of what was done on your environment. Okay. So apologies for some of the technical difficulties, but I think at least we have a good understanding of what it is that can be done with the Copilot custom fields.
Absolutely. Let's see if there's any more questions out. Okay, the question is, and I'll read this out for Lee, again from Israel. Thanks. Now, if a customer is not on the third plan or higher, is there still a way to retrieve the custom field information through your API, or is the API access limited in terms of what it can provide?
Yes. So if you take a look at the API documentation, and you can do that by going in your Atera platform, going to admin API, you can see your API documentation along with your API key, and there you can see a list of all the different operations that are possible. And some of the operations included there are custom fields. So you can use extract and also input custom field information. by the way, it's worth pointing out. This isn't a ticketing thing, but on the devices, we also have script-based custom fields, but that's sort of an aside.
That's awesome. Do you want to talk about that for just a second?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, script-based custom fields are very cool, but not too ticketing related. Basically, what they can do is that you have custom fields on the devices page, and then you can have a script that automatically populates that custom field based on information retrieved from the endpoint.
Awesome. So let's go back to ticketing. And actually, I'm going to open up the field again if there's any more questions about anything that we've addressed so far. I don't see anybody has asked any questions further inside the chat or that. So I do want to take a look at something. The title of this, I know that we both have been focusing on the AI, but it also says engaging 9 IT teams. And what I want to do is I want to talk a little bit about some of the organization that you can do inside the system to have accessibilities for different kinds of things. So for example, I'm going to go back to my share here for just a second. To my share. And we're going to share this screen. There we go. There we are. So a couple of things about this is that whenever you have, and depending on, again, Atera has 2 primary platforms. One is for MSPs and one is for IT departments. I'm right now, we've both been working in the IT department platform. Essentially, they're very, very similar in the way that they operate. There are some categories that are going to be different. For example, in the MSP version, there's a whole section on business, on billing, on contracts, on a little bit deeper for SLAs. There's a little bit more things that are relevant to that. Also, some of the terminology is different. You'll see what we're using right now. We're at something called sites. On the MSP, it's called customers. So it's pretty much the same operation. It just has different terminology and some extra terminologies in there. One of the things that you're going to see, I'm actually in that same site again on Manhattan. And inside the users, you can see that we have a half a dozen users here. One of them is called the main user. And the reason why that's called the main user is that's going to be your primary contact. How's that going to help you? One is that you're going to know who the primary contact is. But if you go into the portal, when you start using in the portal, is that inside the portal, you're able to see your tickets. So any ticket that I've opened up, I can go into the portal, I can take a look at it, I can take a look at its status. If I'm the primary user, I can see my site's tickets. So if I was Nyla, I would be able to see all the tickets from my team underneath this. So that's one way that you can engage the teams that way. I want to point something else out. This was somebody that had raised this issue on the last one, is that if we go into users and security, we can start creating technician groups. And what a technician group is this is going to be able to isolate, to organize who does what. If you're going to do an escalation of your tickets. So for example, when you go into a ticket right at the very beginning, let's just go back into a ticket. I'm going to open up a ticket here for a second. So let's just open up this one. And you can see that you have assigned group and you have assigned technician. You don't always need to have an assigned group and you don't always need to assign technician, but you obviously are going to want to have a technician that is the person that's responsible and do that. You can assign any technician that you want as long as you don't have any assigned group. But if you change the group, if you create a group, so for example, tier 1, tier 2, security, this is a way that you can escalate and change the people that are responsible for that. So for example, if I start off with T1, this is only going to give me a specific list of who I can do it to. If I change that to tier 2, it's going to give me a different list of who I can assign that ticket to. Okay. How do we do that? We're going to come down here to admin. We're going to go down to technician group and we're going to create a group. Really straightforward. I click on new group. I give it a name. I give it a description. And I can select the members of who I want to put inside that, okay? Now, what's very important about this is the private, okay? And this is a way that if you want to isolate, say, for example, you're an MSP or you've got a CEO that wants to take a look at what's going on, you can actually create this private. And what we'll say is only group members can access tickets assigned to a private group. So nobody else can take a look at the other one. So for example, if you're an MSP and you have a customer, and sometimes people will give a tech access to a customer, like to the main point person, they would identify that group. They would put that person inside, but the key thing is to make it private, so they can only be taking a look at those particular tickets. The other thing that you would do is you would create an access role, and inside that access role is that you would define what they can see and what they can't see. Part of that is by taking a look at the site. So for example, if I create a new site, I can say, or a new access role, I can say, you know what? The only one that you're going to look at is Manhattan. And so as a tech, I would only be able to see that. And again, it's about creating more granularity and more access specific roles for each one. The other route that I can do is that I could go in here and do a select all, and I could say you could see everything but Manhattan. So that way I might want to create a site that is a don't touch this site, or it's a C-level site, or it's all my servers, and I can isolate that particular role from that, okay? And then when I come back here, I have my technician group. I assign my technicians. It gives me some great control of who's doing tickets, what tickets are being addressed, and who's going to be addressing those, okay? Let me go back into, this is part of the problem they're saying right now. It looks like they're working on that. Let me just see if they've been able to fix it yet. They say they've identified the issue. Let me see if I can do a jump in here real quick. And, all right, drum roll, please. Are you going to give me a drum roll?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Very welcome.
It was a nice try. I'm going to give it just a second. We'll take a look at a second we'll do that. So this is going to be a pause point. We got another ticket. Nope, we got another question as well. It's perfectly fine. And the question is it possible to merge duplicate tickets automatically? Now, when I introduced Lee, I introduced him as a customer success manager. I also, can I officially introduce you also as an associate product manager, specifically for ticketing. So no better person to answer this question than Lee.
It's an interesting question. So right now, there isn't an option to merge tickets together automatically within the platform. This is because this would be quite a challenge in order to identify which issues are identical to others. And ultimately, merging might not even be the best solution for that. So you might not want to merge two tickets that aren't identical issues. But moreover, merging is probably not the best scenario. All it does is combine into one ticket. In the best case scenario, what would actually be better is if you grouped all those tickets together under one parent ticket, which sort of segues me into an upcoming release that we're working on very soon, which is parent-child tickets. And when that is released, we'll be able to have a parent ticket, and under that, we'll be able to have different child tickets. And that's very useful for problem/incident management, where you have multiple different instances of the same problem that you want to group under one parent. So that'll be very, very useful when it comes out.
I'm gonna digress for just a second, because I do want to read something from the chat, and this is going to be the quote of the year. Nick, I will make sure that you get an award for that. And Nick said the following: "Tech isn't supposed to work. If it did, I wouldn't have a job." Nick, you couldn't have been better stated. Thank you very much. It's an excellent analysis of why we have the jobs that we have. And you know, as I'm going to stretch for time just a little bit, you know, there's a lot of fear about the autopilot is going to take over jobs and it's going to take over position. It's the last thing it's going to do. If it's going to do anything, it's going to give us more time to do the things that we really want to do, to dive deeper, to develop more, to build out our systems better. It's just going to get rid of the nuisance tickets, in a lack of better words. The ones that are coming in like, I forgot my password, it's not restarting, the printer is not working, you know, kinds of things that will help you resolve tickets on a quicker basis. So while we're here, I'm going to do a quick check on my Copilot again, because I know, nope, it's not there. Which means we're earlier time. So I'm going to stretch this out. What I would do now with the time that we have is that if you have any questions about the system, particularly at ticketing, because this is really what our focus is, that you would like to ask, anything about automations, anything about ticketing, anything about sort of the general operations of tickets, we'll go ahead and answer your questions right now. You've got the right team for that, and we can decidedly address that. Let me just check with my team here. I'm going to stop sharing for a second to see. I'm going to, if you'll excuse me, I'm actually going to do a quick reboot. Clear my cache.
I have a nice comment. And another way could be technology has no honor code. Truer words have never been spoken. That's very right. Yeah, but as Bill mentioned, if you have any other ticketing questions, not even AI related, just anything in the platform, whether it be if you want to get something done and you don't know how, best practices, here to answer if you have any ideas.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I think, yeah, let's go back to it. All right, great. We're back in business. So I'm going to go back to share. One moment. Let's go back here, and then we're going to go here. We're going to go over here. All right. We're going to give this one more try. Now, it just worked. I know it's not going to work right now. So what we talked about earlier, I'm just going to come back to it, is that we have the generate, the generate reply. We have the generate article. Now we have the Copilot. I'm going to click on the Copilot, and you can see that it's working now. It says it's responding. What it's doing right now, it's doing an analysis. It's taking a look at what the device is doing. Then you can see the check-in system diagnostics. It's looking at CP usage. It's looking at disk space availability. And it's processing that. It's already telling me in my disk space availability, it looks like I've got some pretty good disk space. That's not really an issue. 89% used space, that's fine. My current CPU is at 5%, that's nothing. And here's my summary. Here's my summary for my ticket. User Bill Frankel, machine running slowly, diagnostics, actionable solution. And this is always the part for the technician to, as a coach, for lack of better words, free up disk space, consider deleting unnecessary files or moving them to an external drive or cloud storage. This should improve the machine's performance. Let me know if you'd like to assist with that. And I'm going to say yes. Can I just say yes? And what I want to do is I want to show you something while we're here once this is doing this. You know, back in the old days, like a 2 or 3 minute pause was really fast. Now, if it doesn't happen in a nanosecond, we start getting impatient. You know, it used to take like 5 minutes to dial in. It's going to go back through that. I can also ask inside this is to generate another reply. If I feel like the reply that I got earlier wasn't there, it's going to go through this again. Clean up. It actually went and did a cleanup. It gave me a little bit more space. Action item. It cleared temp files and it already did it. So it did auto actions. It cleared temporary files and emptied recycle bins. For more improvement, consider moving large files to external storage. In my mind, that's great because it already did that. I didn't have to go into the device. I didn't have to run a script. It already ran the script. And part of the process, what I can do right now is talk about scripting for a little bit. One of the things that I could do right now, if it said that I needed to clean temp files, is that I could come over here into my device. And I could go in and start cleaning out the files. I could manage it that way. If I wanted to run a script, I could do that. If I want to find my scripts, I'm going to come down here into monitoring and automation. I find my scripts. If you haven't taken a look at the scripts, we have a huge library of scripts that are shared. This is, I think it's 1,002. It's 1,002 scripts that you can use, and you can pull from many things. One of the things I like to do, I like to say, click on clones once, click on clones twice, and then what you're going to get here is that you're going to be able to get the top scripts that are available. So if I see something here that's empty the recycle bin, I can clone it. It's going to add to my library. If I have the Copilot, I can also come over here into my scripts. I can create a script. I can write the script and I can put it in there. And then very simply, I can go into the devices. Let's go back into the device. I'm going to pick out device, and I am going, actually, I'll go into the site, and I'm going to go into Manhattan, which is the site we're working at. I'm going to take a look at the device Billy, which is my device. Okay. And if I want to, I can just click on it right here, and I can run a script from this. So I can look for the script that I have. There's a cleanup utility, there's installers, and all I have to do is run that. So from the ticket, you can manage all the issues. You can generate replies. There's a lot that you could do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of wind this down and put this to a close, and we'll see if there's any questions before we finish. And so this is the end of the session. We've covered a lot. We've covered a little bit more than we thought we were going to do because of some tech difficulties. But let's recap what we've walked through. We recapped about how the Copilot enhances every ticket with real-time suggestions, sentiment analysis, and knowledge-based references. How you can generate knowledge-based articles from ticket resolutions. It's just one click. And then repurpose that content into quick replies. How custom fields can be auto-filled by Copilot, giving you clean, structured data without manual input. And finally, how all of that structured data, it can fuel smarter reports so you can track trends. The key takeaways, these aren't features. That's part of a larger AI workflow that saves time, it boosts consistency, and it scales your IT operation intelligently. If you haven't explored these, if you don't have the Copilot, if you're interested in the autopilot, talk to your customer success manager or your account manager. They'll be happy to give you a demo. They'll be happy to walk you through. Your onboarding manager, if you're in the middle of the onboarding process, by all means, we'll be happy to show that. And we'll be able to walk you through that. I know we have a few more minutes. Lee, do you want to take a shot at and see, since the Copilot is now back working, if that had resolved that?
Unfortunately, in the background, I've been trying, and no such luck. I think AI might like you a little bit more than me today.
Yeah, that's not so hard. Let's see if it. There's a quick question. Can you associate a ticket? It's going great. The client has its own in-house. There's a couple of things here. Okay. Can you associate a ticket to a device rather than just a user?
So right now, the way the logic of the platform works is that users are associated with devices and tickets are associated with users. So ultimately, whenever a user opens up a ticket, their associated device will show up in that ticket, assuming everything is synced correctly. It is possible to change whichever device is assigned to a user. So if something changes, you can change that within the customer/sites page. And ultimately, the best practice is to have all the devices assigned to their correct users. That way, whenever they create a ticket, you already have the device right in the ticket page and you can investigate from there. We have another question that says, is there a way to edit a ticket, maybe correct a typo? This one is a little bit of an annoyance, but there is an industry standard answer behind this. So it's not possible to edit public replies or private notes because all correspondence are actually considered to be historical logs. It's industry standard across multiple different platforms, not just Atera. So unfortunately, it's a little bit annoying whenever you make a little silly typo, but it is what it is.
One more for you, Lee, and then we'll call it a day.
Sure, let's do it.
The one from Dara.
All right. We have alert tickets coming, which is great. The client has its own in-house team. Is there a way to automate the alert ticket to be sent to an in-house team's emails on ticket creation? So yes, in principle, it should be common. Should be possible to automate that. Basically, in the ticket automation rules, you would select the source of the ticket, in this case being an alert, and you would basically create an action, which would be to alert the different team to receive the ticket. If you want multiple people on that reply chain, maybe it would be good to create a distribution group instead of adding all the emails manually, but it's up to you. And of course, if you have an internal team within Atera, it's probably better practice to use a technician group.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Lee. Folks, I want to say thank you all for your patience. Thank you for joining us tonight. Tech is tech. Sometimes it works, and sometimes it decides to adopt Murphy's Law at exactly the point that you don't want it to, and just to take over, which it did. But we were able to show 99% of what we wanted tonight. Again, anything that you want to learn more about, reach out to our support team, 24/7 support team. Reach out to your customer success manager, and also reach out to your account manager if you're interested in getting a hold of the Copilot and or the Autopilot. We wish you all a great rest of your day, evening for some of you, afternoon for others, and day for the others, since we've got all across all the time zones. Thank you all for joining, and thank you all for being a part of the Atera community. And we'll see you all soon.